Level up your faith in the unseen reality. The purpose of this video is threefold. Number one, to learn to trust yourself more, inner voice, conversation, or connection. Number two, develop a higher degree of faith in your imagination. And the understanding is that we have the ability to create reality from the interpretations from the outer world or creative imagination, and allow that information to be who you are. In other words, impress on the subconscious mind and create reality accordingly. Now, if we're constantly taking in suggestions from the outer world and assuming it to be true, even if it disempowers us, then we create reality from that perspective and repeat the process again and again. However, when we develop a higher degree of faith in our imagination, we learn to trust our imagination more. And as a result of this trust and faith in our imagination, we are able to impress the unseen or the vision or the desired outcome that you want to see onto our subconscious and also create accordingly. And then number three, reveal further insights and perspectives on what you are already learning in relation to your journey and your goals. You always hear me mention this, to realize that the journey and the destination are one, to value them both and enjoy the experience of learning. And I'll speak from experience on this. I come from a background where I did not have the kind of joy and passion that I have towards learning right now. And one of the fundamental reasons why, from my own perspective, is that I wasn't able to understand how some of the information that I was learning in school was related to what I truly desired to create. And because I didn't see the parallels or the connections, I wasn't as interested in what I was learning. Now, fast forward many years later, having developed such a high degree of joy and excitement towards the process of learning, I realized that it's important to cross-reference and understand how what you're learning is contributing to what you desire to create. You have a choice to learn some other information or learn it from a perspective that will bring it into alignment or contribution. In other words, find joy and excitement in the process of learning. Now, this process of working with your imagination allows you to connect in very interesting ways concepts that you learn from the outer world with your own insights and perspectives. Part of this journey is to work with our creative imagination, to stimulate our own insights and perspectives from within, to create what we desire from the place of how we desire to see it brought forth. And we're going to talk about this from an interesting perspective, one that I've never discussed formally before, but we'll get into discussion about it. It's called the Invisible Council. The Invisible Council is a technique that I have learned from Think and Grow Rich, and we'll talk about that and how this is valuable for leveling up our faith in the unseen reality, working with our imagination. So, faith in relation to your goals. All things exist, and the mystery of their creation must be understood in terms of faith. But faith does not give reality to that which is unseen. Faith is loyalty to the unseen reality. Only in this sense can the meaning of faith be understood. So again, faith is loyalty to the unseen reality. In other words, loyalty to what you imagine, loyalty to what you desire to create, loyalty to your vision. Upon loyalty to your vision, what you desire to create, the loyalty is combined with the vision to impress on the subconscious mind and create accordingly. It is to believe and have faith in your unseen reality, loyalty to your vision. Napoleon Hill says, "You are entitled to know that two entities occupy your body. One of these entities is motivated by and responds to the impulse of fear. The other is motivated by and responds to the impulse of faith. Will you be guided by faith, or will you allow fear to overtake you?" Key words here: guided by faith. which is loyalty to the imagination, loyalty to the vision? Or will you allow, keyword allow fear to overtake you? Fear does not have the power to overtake us unless we lack understanding about it and we allow it to overtake us. We have the power within to allow it or not allow it to overtake us. One of the reasons why we fear in relation to faith, or lack of faith, I would say, is uncertainty. Faith is finding certainty in uncertainty. In my last video, I talked about the 3 kinds of uncertainty, so I categorize it. Number 1, flow-based uncertainty. Number 2, controlled chaos-based uncertainty. And then number 3, chaos-based uncertainty. Flow-based uncertainty is consciously placing yourself in challenging situations where you experience the challenge and find joy and bliss in the process of engaging and remaining in the challenge to rise up to higher levels of skill, ability, and evolution of your beliefs within. This allows you to find certainty in those scenarios where you once saw them as uncertain. However, because they're not too challenging, it's easier to find certainty in flow-based situations, circumstances. Number 2, controlled chaos. These are projects, situations, circumstances that you place yourself in knowing that you're not going to necessarily find flow, at least not right away in these circumstances. But as a result of remaining in these controlled chaos-based scenarios or circumstances, you develop a higher degree of faith and confidence in yourself. So flow-based uncertainty will be something like you have a project, you break it down into steps, and you dedicate time to see them into completion. And as a result of doing this, you, yes, encourage and encounter challenges. However, you're also able to overcome these challenges, see them as opportunities, develop new skill, and move forward. Controlled chaos are projects or even radical changes in your environment, like moving to another country, starting a new job, leaving your job and starting a business, or doing something that you have never done before for a reason. The reason being to learn about yourself, to grow and evolve at a rapid pace. That stated, there's uncertainty there. You may not know how it's going to be brought forth or how you are going to be in those circumstances. However, it excites you. There's a level of excitement about going into the controlled chaos. The side benefit for that is that you will learn faster, you will grow faster, you will evolve and rise up to a different paradigm. Watch the video I did on paradigms. I'll put a link in the description. You will also be able to rise up to that circumstance and find flow in it. And as a result, you have now evolved to the place where you can find flow in that kind of circumstance or similar circumstances again and again. So the chaos, controlled chaos-based circumstance, project, initiative, eventually becomes flow-based. You have a greater degree of skill and ability because you now find flow in the complexity of that previous situation that was considered controlled chaos. My recommendation, and one that I apply on myself and working with others, is to place myself in controlled chaos circumstances on a regular basis. Not to a place where I feel overwhelmed, because that's when we're going into chaos, just pure chaos, but rather enough that I'm being challenged. So, from the place of exercise, it could be changing up your workout routines every now and then. From the place of entrepreneurship, it could be after you have generated a certain amount of consistent revenue from your business, take on new projects or go into new markets or parallel-based opportunities to your industry. Number 3, chaos. If we don't value the journey of evolution of faith, leveling up our faith, having the ability to have loyalty to the unseen reality through faith, then when chaos shows up, circumstances that may appear outside of our control, but we didn't consciously place ourselves in them, we can have a great degree of overwhelm in those particular circumstances. Now, through placing yourself in flow and controlled chaos-based uncertainty on a regular basis in a way that's right for you, you will find that you are able to maintain faith in chaos-based uncertainty. I'll speak from experience on this, and I'll also speak on behalf of many that I've spoken to and discussed the same concept with. Those that maintain a high degree of flow and even actively place themselves in controlled chaos-based circumstances to grow them, to evolve so they can enjoy the journey and the destination and see it as one, have a greater ability to find opportunity or the secret order, the divine order that exists in chaos. Very important. So, simply put, to level up your faith in relation to your goals, your dreams, your aspirations, and also the journey, it's important to value flow, value controlled chaos, and then realize that by valuing flow and controlled chaos, you're going to find yourself easily or easier. It's going to be easier to deal with chaos-based uncertainty. Next, we got acts of faith in relation to your goal. So it's one thing to have faith in your goal and your vision. It's another thing to be or act in faith in relation to your goal. The goal is to be in alignment with your vision. And as a result of being in alignment with your vision, your thoughts, your emotions, and your behaviors and outer world circumstances change to reflect. We call this being autotelic. Being autotelic. Watch the video I did on being autotelic. I'll put a link in the description. So in my previous video, I talked about the different ways of dealing with uncertainty, leveling up your ability to deal with uncertainty, evolve into a greater ability to rise up, I would say, to a higher level of understanding about reality and your relationship to reality, to be able to live in higher levels of complexity while embracing it, higher levels of uncertainty, which is a form of having faith in the unseen reality. Number one, integrate to move forward. Number two, life as lessons in perspectives of I am. Number three, opportunities that present themselves as obstacles. Number four, the all provides inspiration to move forward. And number five, experiences flow from states of mind. Let's reflect upon this at a high level. Number one, integrate and move forward. The goal is to be able to see whatever shows up as the obstacle on the journey to creating what you desire as an opportunity and something that will reveal to you about yourself and what can be done. So you can work with it, integrate it, and move forward with it in some shape or form. Number two, life lessons, or life as lessons in perspectives of I am. There's infinite perspectives, and we identify with perspectives, mostly subconsciously, to experience reality from that perspective. So our goal is to be able to choose consciously the perspectives, states of mind, attitudes of mind, to reflect accordingly in our experiences or interpretation of the outer world, five sensory data, and see it as contribution to what we desire to create. Why? Because then we can maintain the higher level of faith in the unseen reality, which is our vision. So we want to evolve our perspectives constantly. We want to value our perspectives, and we want to also understand the perspectives of others, and specifically with working with faith in our imagination, affirming our imagination in a way that is unseen loyalty and faith to that imagination. We can take the perspectives, or let's say we have not uncovered the perspectives, and bring this into our invisible council session, which we'll talk about in a moment. Number three, opportunities that present themselves as obstacles, realizing that there are many different obstacles that could show up. Keyword is could, doesn't have to show up, it could show up on the journey to creating what you desire to create. And when we understand what it reveals to us about ourselves and how we can work with it, we'll be able to turn them into opportunities. For example, think in the entrepreneurial space. My own personal experience, a lot of the business initiatives that I took on in the IT process consulting sector have been spawned as a result of solving my own problems that existed within the business that I have and what I was doing. Many businesses started this way. They go into a certain market, they aim to solve a need that exists in the market, and they run into a challenge or an obstacle within their business. Now, as a result of the challenge that exists within their business, they get an idea, certain kind of software. I've seen many CRM programs, client relationship management software, that is designed to solve a problem that exists within a business, in which when they solve that problem, to manage their style of doing business, they were able to go to market and sell that to those that are already experiencing those kinds of obstacles or setbacks or inefficiency of their particular infrastructure within. Now, how the opportunities present themselves in relation to the obstacles can be revealed through the invisible counsel. We'll talk about that in a moment. Number 4, the all providing inspiration to move forward. To see reality as all people, circumstance, information, environment is providing you inspiration in some shape or form. If for some reason you don't see it, then we can, as a result of that, practice a higher degree of faith through the exercise of invisible counsel, anything like this that works with the imagination, so you can see, you can experience and actually watch the changes occur as a result of working with the unseen reality through perhaps invisible counsel, inner voice conversations, or imagining, working with your imagination in a way that is in harmony with reality, the outer world. Number 5, experiences flow from states of mind. It's the understanding that there are infinite states of mind. At any point, you are subconsciously, most of the time subconsciously, identifying with different states of mind that create certain experiences. Positive state of mind, negative state of mind, mental attitude. The experiences that you have, the thoughts, the behaviors, the actions, and the outer world circumstances is interpreted and experienced from the state of mind. So we want to question these particular areas through the invisible counsel. Here's some good questions. And you can note these questions, but we really want to ask these questions in the invisible counsel. Number 1, integrate and move forward. What is the circumstance revealing to you about your contribution to it? In other words, the circumstance of whatever you are experiencing on your journey. How is the subconscious aspects of yourself creating it? Number 2, what is the data and your assumptions and beliefs about the data? The outer world experiences, 5 sensory data. What are your assumptions and beliefs about it in a way that is either empowering or disempowering? What we're interested in with the invisible counsel is working with what disempowers us so we can evolve it into empowerment. Number 2, life as lessons and perspectives of I am. What new perspectives are being revealed to you as a result of the circumstance? What can you do or affirm as a result of the newfound perspective? A lot of with working with the imagination is affirmation. Imagination, or working with the imagination or invisible counsel, is a form of affirmation. Number 3, opportunities that present themselves as obstacles. Where have others overcome these similar obstacles and converted them into opportunities? How did your faith and loyalty in the unseen translate into the newfound perspective? Number 4, the all provides inspiration to move forward. What concept can you learn from others to level up your faith? In this case, we're going to be working with the invisible counsel. Number 5, experiences flow from states of mind, which is then important for us to be consciously aware of what state of mind we are associating with, identifying with, saying I am to at a subconscious level, and creating experiences from that perspective, thoughts, emotions, behaviors, and outer world experiences in relation, reflection of the outer world to the inner world. What was your state of mind or mental attitude in relation to the evidence, the outer world, 5 sensory data that presented itself? And we want to bring reflections into our invisible counsel. States of mind, the effects of the state of mind, as in the outer world reflection, experiences as a result of the identification, mostly subconscious, with the state of mind. Imagination and subconscious creation as far as a process. It's a process. Impress the subconscious mind with our imagination. Having a higher degree of faith in our imagination impresses the subconscious mind to a higher degree and creates as certain thoughts, emotions, and behaviors that flow as a result. You change, you evolve, and circumstances and interpretation of circumstances change as well. Now let's bring this into your invisible counsel, or as I call it, everlasting states of mind. These are states of mind that have been personified by individuals. So Napoleon Hill says, every night over a long period of years, I held an imaginary council meeting with this group whom I called my invisible counselors. The process was this. Just before going to sleep at night, otherwise known as state akin to sleep, I would shut my eyes and see in my imagination this group of men seated with me around my council table. Here, I had not only an opportunity to sit amongst whom I considered to be great, but I actually dominated the group by serving as the chairman. So the concept of invisible counsel is to bring these questions, or similar questions, whatever questions you'd like, and to have an imaginary council meeting in your mind with those that you aspire to learn from. Now, this is an imaginal act. This is in your imagination. But the power of it is you will notice that you have a higher degree of engagement and faith, as if you were watching a movie in your own mind, and you get better at it with practice. As a result, you'll notice that the insights and perspectives that are shared by your invisible counsel will translate over to the answers that you get from the questions, and I gave you some good questions to ask. Now, it's the being within you that is answering all this through the invisible counsel. However, it's a way of working with the imagination in a way that's engaging so that you can learn. As mentioned earlier, we want to find ways in which we learn, more accurately put, affirm. Most change happens through subconscious work, and this is a form of subconscious work. He says, I had a very definite purpose in indulging my imagination through these nightly meetings. My purpose was to rebuild my own character so it would represent a composite of the characters in my imaginary council. Realizing, as I did early in life, that I had to overcome the handicap of birth in an environment or ignorance and superstition, I deliberately assigned myself the task of voluntary rebirth. Napoleon Hill. Now, these are quotes from Think and Grow Rich. And over the years, I've been working with the invisible counsel in a certain format. It doesn't necessarily mean at the end of the night. I do it throughout the day, usually in the morning while doing my morning routine. So you don't have to lie down and close your eyes. It can be imaginary conversations in which you ask questions that you will find as you ask these questions. You get unique insights and perspectives based on these individual representations. I call them everlasting states of mind. Each person can be personified as a state of mind. And you can go into their state of mind through the invisible council meeting. You get better at it with practice. So what I do is a similar format like this. And this can start off the genesis of your invisible council sessions that you could hold every night on a regular basis. Now, as mentioned, the purpose of this video is to bring you into a higher level of trust within yourself, your inner voice conversation, your inner voice connection, to allow you to trust yourself more. All of this is happening via your imagination, in your own mind. It's also to develop a higher degree of faith in your imagination, because you're going to see the results that flow as a result of integration of what is being uncovered and revealed within via the invisible counsel. Number 3 is to reveal further insights and perspectives on what you are already learning. As mentioned, when you're interested in learning, when you have an engaging way of learning, and this may work for you in a way that is in harmony or might not. It's really up to you. This is something that I use as a tool to learn and grow and evolve, working with my imagination via the invisible counsel. It will reveal further insights and perspectives on what you are already learning in relation to your journey and your goals. A very creative way of working with your imagination to learn about yourself, to bring those questions or any questions you'd like over to your invisible counsel in the meeting, in your mind, round table, or in a different location, whatever you'd like, in your imagination, and have conversations with these individuals. So sometimes my invisible counsel includes Neville Goddard, Napoleon Hill, and James Allen. Those that I've been very inspired by, who have created bodies of knowledge, who have lived a certain way and have certain insights and understandings about reality, contribute greatly to the evolution of my being in relation to my goals and what I desire to create. So thus I invite them over to my invisible council, and I bring forth many different individuals over to my invisible council at different stages of the journey so I can understand the different perspectives through those states of mind represented by the individual understanding, or my understanding, of who they are and study of their body of work. So the more we study someone's body of work, the greater the ability we have to work in our imagination to stimulate nuance-based insights and perspectives from their work in contribution to what you desire to create via the invisible council. Now, statements like this can help kick off the invisible council. Mr. Neville Goddard, I desire to acquire from you the divine understanding of imagination via your great work for which you have distinguished your life. I ask that you may impress upon my subconscious mind whatever knowledge you possess that you see fit, which will enable me to carry out my life's work in service to others. I ask that you assist me in reaching and drawing upon whatever sources of knowledge that are available to this end during our council via the questions I bring to the table. You can bring those kind of questions that I have there to help you. I agree to understand and act upon your guidance with calm faith. So all of this is an affirmation. You see this, working with the invisible council. You are creating an outline of how you're going to connect with your invisible council and what you're going to do with the information, which multiplies your faith in the unseen reality. The invisible council is a form of unseen reality. Mr. Napoleon Hill, I desire to acquire from you the marvelous wisdom contained within the laws of success philosophy. I ask that you may impress upon my subconscious mind whatever knowledge you possess in regards to the laws of success philosophy that you see fit, which will enable me to carry out my life's work in service to others. I ask that you assist me in reaching and drawing upon whatever sources of knowledge that are available to this end during our council via the questions I bring to the table. I also agree to understand and act upon your guidance with calm faith. And then finally, James Allen. Mr. James Allen, I desire to acquire from you your in-depth understanding contained within your magnum opus titled As a Man Thinketh. I ask that you may impress upon my subconscious mind the deep wisdom contained within your work, so that I may live the philosophy and inspire all others who seek accordingly to reveal their own understandings behind your work. I ask that you assist me in reaching and drawing upon whatever sources of knowledge that are available to this end during our council via the questions I bring to the table. I agree to understand and act upon your guidance with calm faith. Now, in your imagination, as you read these statements, you would bring them into a location, whether it be a round table or any other location. And you also, in the process, reflect upon the questions. You ask them the questions. You say, Napoleon Hill, based on this circumstance that I'm having right now in my life, how would you apply the laws of success philosophy? I've been studying the laws of success philosophy. How would you apply it in this particular circumstance? And don't overthink it. Allow the subconscious to express. Here's the key. Allow the subconscious to express. One of the reasons why we maintain flow, it is a greater degree of harmony between the conscious and the subconscious, and we're allowing the subconscious to express. And then observe the insights and perspectives gathered. Same thing can be said about, let's say, number 4 here. The all provides inspiration to move forward. You can say, can you teach me different concepts to level up my faith, Neville Goddard? Can you guide me to certain information throughout my days that you have created that will multiply or level up my faith? Okay, different ways that you can apply these questions in the invisible council. You can say to James Allen, what was my state of mind or mental attitude at the particular time I had the circumstance? And what would be a aligned mental attitude with my desired outcome that I can instill in myself, that I could affirm in myself, that I could subconsciously, automatically assign myself with when I encounter or if I encounter the same kind of circumstance, based on your understanding, based on your philosophy contained within As a Man Thinketh. As I listen to your audios on a consistent basis, the audiobook version of As a Man Thinketh, I trust that you will be able to guide me in those moments to reveal the insights that I'm looking for. And I also trust that right now you'll be able to reveal to me what I need to do. So as a result of working with the Invisible Council, which is essentially holding imaginary meetings in your mind with those that inspire you, those that you've been studying, you do a few things. Number one is you engage your mind in ways of educating and evolving yourself, creative ways that will allow you to build a greater degree of trust within yourself. All this is happening within. It's happening via your imagination and your subconscious mind. You're also in the process, as a result of working with this information and applying it and seeing the results from application, develop a higher degree of faith and imagination. And I've used the Invisible Council for many different areas of my life. Business success, relationship success, health wellness success, personal development success. The Invisible Council is very powerful because it allows us to work with one of the most powerful gifts that we have, as I had learned from Neville Goddard, our wonderful human imagination. We have an imagination that can create reality as a result of the reflection of what is in our imagination. Look at anything that has been created in this world. It always started in the imagination, and we lived in our imagination. Whoever lived in their imagination, as a result, they created accordingly. As a result, they were able to deal with higher levels of uncertainty. They found themselves more in flow. They found themselves automatically choosing more so to be in controlled chaos-based uncertainty and finding joy in it, where others who did not have this ability to understand and work with their imagination and subconscious, and they may not be able to articulate it in this way that I'm talking about, but most likely, and I've spoken to many about this, they have used some form like this. Even when we have disempowering thoughts, we imagine ourselves having disempowering thoughts with another person. Another way of looking at it is you bring them into your imaginary invisible council and play out that conflict. So you're doing this anyway, so you might as well do this in a way that is congruent and bringing forth in alignment what you desire to create. You could do this at the end of the night. You could do this throughout the day. You could do this whenever you'd like. But it's something that's very powerful, and when integrated, will level up your faith in the unseen reality. And as stated, reflected upon the Neville Goddard quote, all things exist. If you can imagine it, then it already exists. And the mystery of their creation must be understood in terms of faith. So we're working more with faith here. And as stated, he says, but faith does not give reality to that which is unseen. Faith is loyalty to the unseen reality. Loyalty to the unseen reality. This is why I include in there, in my Invisible Council sessions, the statement, I agree to understand and act upon your guidance with calm faith. I know, as a result, personal experience with working with a statement like this, as I act upon calm faith on the insights and perspectives that were gathered through the Invisible Council, I was able to rise up to higher levels of certainty during uncertainty and create success in a way that is not necessarily how others have done it. I mean, certainly the whole Invisible Council technique or strategy is not necessarily something that we commonly talk about, but however, it is something that we actually do. So you're either consciously bringing an Invisible Council into your mind and having a conversation with them, a constructive, purposeful, high output, creative conversation, or we're imagining scenes having conflict with others in our own mind, and equally in both ways, creating reality accordingly. If you want to copy this mind map, the link is in the description. Thank you very much for watching. I'll talk to you soon. Take care.